Hey, should we get started?
Yeah, I think you can start with things.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on March 5th, 2022. My name is Anwar Raza. Some of you know me as a activist, but I'm just a saver. I'm just a little myself helping human rights activists to promote peace and justice in the entire world. So today we are gathering here to explore, have some dialogue and discussion on FATF and Pakistan's policy, Pakistan's the terrorist policy, and we'll get to hear everybody's input. And before we get started, please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me. If you want to be on camera, fine. If not, it's fine too. So as you may already know that today, yesterday, after meeting 4 days in Paris, a decision has been made by FATF, and that is to retain Pakistan on gray list. It is a kind of welcoming news, but at the same time, it is very disappointing. We have been struggling to get across FATF for a while, for almost 2 years, and seems like we are getting a deaf ear. They have kept Pakistan on gray list, but at the same time, they have given them flexibility to correct. I mean, in 2 years, there was flexibility, but now more, and they are passing them. It started with 40 deficiencies. Now they are down to 1. Folks, down to 1. So FATF thinks, that Pakistan has improved. So we'll be discussing that. And briefly, I'm sure my distinguished guests and audience know what FATF is. It's an organization, it's a group which started in 1989. In the beginning, it was just a group to watch money laundering related to crimes. But later on, the terror financing was added to it. And since then, Pakistan and other countries, Pakistan is not the only country. There are other countries which have been on gray or black list. As you know, there are 3 categories. Gray list is those who are trying to improve on their performance. And then there are blacklist people, blacklist countries who have not improved. And then there's a wide list which include countries like USA and European countries who follow all the rules. And Pakistan has a help from 3 countries, China, Malaysia, and Turkey. So, they have been doing terror financing for a while, and that is the state policy. So I will expect my guests to touch those. So let me begin with Zafar Saito. He's the chief organizer of and founder of GSN movement. He's living in exile in USA, and he started his political career from GSN Student Federation in 2000. He's a prominent speaker, writer, and human rights activist. So Zafar, what do you think about this, that they have kept Pakistan on gray list, but let that country go without further sanctioning or putting them on the blacklist, which it should have been? As you know, that there are, I'm just jumping in just to get you started. There are 141 terrorist organizations in Pakistan, and there are 16,000 terrorists who have been killing and as a policy, the state has been sponsoring them. So please tell us, how we can move from here, how we can bring peace and tranquility in that area where you belong in Sindh, when the state is busy sponsoring terrorism. Zafar Saheto.
Thank you, Anwar Raza, and good morning, good evening to everyone. Today's program, we organized this program regarding human rights violation and why on the human rights violation, Pakistan must be sanctioned and Pakistan must be put in blacklist as FATF. Already you mentioned different things about Pakistan, that what is going on over there. Before starting, I would like to have silence for a few seconds, because yesterday there was a attack on a mosque and a lot of Shias were killed over there and these all dots are connected to Pakistan and Pakistani military intelligence, and they are sponsoring the terrorism. So we will just like 10 seconds, we will put our silence, and then I will start on this one. Thank you. Thank you, Anwar Raza, again. Thank you to the guests. We are expecting Dr. Naila Qadri, Shahi Sadat. They will be joining soon, and we have already Shakila Majtadi. Anwar Raza is a human rights and is a nationalist, is a persecuted person from occupied Sindh by Pakistan. This all happening, these atrocities are happening since Pakistan was created. If we go at the creation of Pakistan, first they attacked in occupied Kashmir by Pakistan. Then Balochistan was invaded. Then genocide in Bangladesh. Then political persecution of Pashtun and Sindhi people. From that, if we see terrorism promoting by Pakistan and Pakistani agencies in neighboring countries, Afghanistan is an example in front of us. How the humanity is suffering over there, how the people are suffering there, you can see, everyone can see. Okay, religious minorities, Shias, Qadiani, Ahmadi, Hindus, Sikh, you take any name of religious minority which are not persecuted in Pakistan. After that, if we are coming to human rights violation, we can see deny of freedom of speech, denying from basic human rights, denying to the historical nations to continue their identity, to promote their language, to promote their culture, denying from the right to self-determination. So I think Pakistan is like a cancer, not only for Sindhi, Baloch, Pashtun, Afghan, Hindus, Kashmiri people, but for the whole world. If we are connecting the dots of international terrorism, we can find Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, Hafiz Saeed in Pakistan, and they were supported, they were trained in barracks of Pakistani intelligence agencies. They were living under their cover. As you said, that FATF must blacklist Pakistan, but they have already decreased their points. I am surprised that what is happening since creation of Pakistan, why still Pakistan is existing? Why still Pakistan, which is like a cancer, is existing in this world? When we are looking for the betterment of the world, when we are looking at progressive societies, when we are looking for the uh, prosperity of humanity, at those times, since 75 years as Pakistan was created, we can see only the bloodshed. We can see everywhere terrorism. We can see
Zafar,
everywhere persecution and atrocities against people.
Zafar,
So, yes,
let
sir.
me, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought that this is happening. We all know about it. And I want to give time to other panelists as well, but can you address for a moment the creation of Pakistan? What is believed to be a Islamic country in 1947 was not created in the name of Islam, and it should be, protecting all the Muslims around the world. Or was it a plan to create a vantage state for the imperialists to keep an eye on other superpowers in the area? So creation of Pakistan itself is a mistake. It was created as a garrison state. 30% of the army was transferred to Pakistan with weapons and garrisons who are being used against everybody like Bloch or Sindhi dissident. The people are dying. People are being kept there. So Zafar, historically, yes, I like what you're saying, but we got to accept that Pakistan is not a real state. Do you agree?
Yes, it is an unnatural state which was created to get British, their interests for their national interests. But not only it was created on Islamic ideology, but it was connected to radicalism. That's why I gave the example of Pakistani occupied Kashmir genocide. That's why I gave the example of Baloch people massacre. 35,000 Baloch youngsters are missing. They are abducted.
Okay.
55 GS and leaders are till now dead. They were tortured, they were abducted, and their mutilated bodies were thrown. Uh, I would like to take the name of Shahid Samiullah Kaloro and Zulfikar Kolachi. They were our colleagues and senior GS and political leaders. They were killed yesterday. It was their death anniversary. So here we are looking that Pakistan not only promoting international terrorism, not only not only committed genocide against historical nations, but same time till now, every day we can see the abduction of Hindu girls. We can see abductions of and change of religion of Sikh, of anyone. Like I told
Right.
you yesterday, Shias were killed. in a mass blast. So
Right.
these
So,
people, this country, which is only for, as you said, a garrison state, it is only for the journals. They are running the shows, and to they have made the lives of millions of people miserable, not only
okay.
in Afghanistan, not only in world, but with committing genocide against Bangladesh, Baloch, Sindhi, Pashtun people.
Okay, Zafar, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for the input. I'm going to come back to you, but
Sure.
I'm telling you, I see here Shakila Mujaddadi, and I have seen her. She's a firepower, and she's from Afghanistan, and she's American Afghan, and she's a human rights activist, and she's also working with the refugees in Pakistan. And as we all know, how much interference Pakistan has done in Afghanistan. They started in 1979 in the name of liberation of Afghanistan. They continued, they made tons of money. I have notes here that one of the, and this is related to money laundering, and I want Shakila to address that issue. One of the ISI chief, Akhtar Malik, he made millions of dollars in that so-called war against terrorism, which was a war which in the name did happen, but it also affected Afghan people. And I want Shakila to address that. Shakila Majidudi, please
Can you hear
tell
me?
us what's
Good
happening
morning.
in Afghanistan due to this terrorist policy.
Well, Afghanistan is right now facing the worst human rights crisis from starvation, and winter is near. I know I have family there, and we continue to financially support them, which has been impossible due to American sanctions because we're not even allowed to send money there. You're speaking about one person profiting from the war in Afghanistan. Every Pakistani general, military person, and anybody that can do any type of business had profited from Afghanistan and the war. That's why Ashraf Ghani's government was in their way, and they didn't want to support that because in so many ways they started friending India and giving contracts to India, and that put a little dent on the economy in Pakistan, and the people that were claiming Afghanistan in part of their territory or for years acted as if it was. So one case scenario to me is very, very tiny in the amount of scenarios that has happened since 1979 and Zia Haq and Ronald Reagan meeting in those years. I remember the reception Ronald Reagan got in Pakistan in Zia Haq's time. And after that, the money that was sunk into Punjab in order to spy on the entire Middle East from Pakistan. The world knows this. America knows this. Pakistan knows this. Pakistan knows what it's doing. One point you have to get to as far as the suffering in Afghanistan, if it wasn't for Pakistan, most of its neighbors wouldn't be suffering. Actually, we would be some of the most developed countries in the world. You know, we would be further than Europe, for God's sakes. Pakistan is the only cancer to its neighbors that's keeping the development of every nation, including its own. It just wants to stuff money into its military and create crises. Who do you think is supporting that? The United States, the people in power. We know what happened with bin Laden. Bin Laden was a CIA man, caught in Pakistan in the end. Where's all the camps for all these suicide bombers? You know, Berkeley University says there's 200 active schools, suicide schools. I've seen pictures and videos. My followers have sent it to me since I've been joining this human rights and women's rights activism. If I showed you these videos, it'll make the hair stand up on your body. That's how chilling and awful these things are. These are children that were stolen from the Pashtun people, from the Baloch people, from Sindh. That's where your children are in these madrasas being strapped to bombs and sending back to our neighbors and destroying things. However, for the citizens of Pakistan, I remember what happened in Iran when everybody welcomed the, Ayatollah and said the Shah was awful, and the black cloud of Islam and the fundamentalism that they're still fighting to this day. And remember what happened to all the intellectuals and all the women. I remember that. The world remembers that. And this is going to happen in Pakistan. I said this on August 15 in front of the Pakistani embassy. And I said, for the citizen and intellectual middle class of Pakistan, you should be worried, because when these Taliban come back and these fundamentalists that are in Pakistan, for the first time in history of Pakistan, there was a Taliban flag that was flown in Islamabad. In Islamabad, they're coming for you. And when they come for you, right now you might be celebrating, but you won't be celebrating for long, because that black cloud that happened in Iran is coming for you. That fundamentalism that was happening and practicing, it's already there. It's already there. It's already taking half of your country down. The other half country is going to collapse. So for the Baloch people, for the Sindhis, for the Kashmiris, and for the Pashtuns, this is the time in history you need to stand up and take your rights and take your country back from Pakistan. It never belonged to them.
Absolutely.
The only place Pakistan belongs and its flag belongs, it's in Punjab. It's the only place they put money in, for God's sake. The rest of the Pakistani people need to wake up. The country is collapsing. I went to Karachi in 2000 and something. I forgot what year it was. When I left Pakistan in 1983, it was in much better condition. That Karachi, that Gulshan Iqbal was prettier, safer. I was a kid. I used to play in the streets with my sisters. I used to walk those streets at night. When I went back in 2000, that place was a nightmare. I was told I had to take a boy out with me that was over 14 so I wouldn't be attacked or my things wouldn't be stolen. And you know what they told me? Don't take your camera to the bazaar because you should be scared somebody's going to steal it from you. I said, well, there's police. And they said, who do you think will take it? It's the police. And I was shocked that in a country that claims to have this much security, this much money, and they're spreading terrorism, why can't you, instead of spreading hate and terrorism, develop your own country? Your young people are running to Europe and other countries to make money. Instead of that, you should have developed your own country.
Right. So, Shakila, I have a question now. I'm a Punjabi, okay? And I feel the pain in my heart, honestly. When I see people like you, when I see people suffer, when I see people from Balochistan, I see Professor Naila Qadri over here, I'll ask her to speak about it. But first of all, I need to know, how come Punjabis don't get up and against this government? They are also the one who are suffering. They hold of army upon assets on all the jobs. Just yesterday, an army man who worked in Pakistani army was telling me that we can just show our ID and get away with anything, and they will salute us, and that's it. So that is a fascist state, what's happening, and that happening in Punjab. Punjabi soldiers in higher rank do not care about Punjabi civilians. So I'll come back to you. For that, this is ironic. So what do you think what should be done?
Well, I don't think the government ever is for the people most of the time. And that is a very sad statement. I had a Pakistani man a few days ago come into my establishment, and he looked at my flag. He said, "You're from Afghanistan?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "How do you feel about Pakistan?" And I said, "Brother, how do you feel about Pakistan?" And he said, "Well, I'm kind of ashamed right now." And I said, "Well, you should be. However, because you're quiet, you're supporting it. And when you're no longer quiet and you're screaming, we will be watching you because your turn is coming. Maybe the world has turned a blind eye, and that's fine. But eventually, when this fight is over and the ground is cleared, Pakistan's flag will only be supported in Punjab, because the rest of the nations, the Pashtun people, the Baloch, the Sindh, Pakistan is going to explode from within. They're already doing that. And when that happens, Punjab will suffer too. And its citizens will suffer because they think right now they're in power, but they're not. It's only the military. And when that military turns on them, they will be the one in the hole.
Okay.
So I feel for them.
Well, thank you so much for the input. I'm going to move on. I know you have a lot to say, and we'll cover that if we have any time left. And I got to introduce our next speaker, Naila Qadri Bloch. She's the chairperson of Bloch People's Congress, president of World Bloch Women's Forum, is leader of Bloch Independence Movement. Salute to you, and it is yours. Please tell us what's going on. How come FATF did not put Pakistan on blacklist? And I want to hear how the Samachars are struggling and how far they can go without any assistance from anywhere. We see them fighting all by themselves. And I see if our superpowers are hellbound to protect other countries, but Bloch, who have been suffering for 70 years, don't get any help. Please tell us what's going on in Balochistan. Professor Naila Qadri.
Thank you, Anwar Raza. Anwar Raza ji, thanks so much. And thanks for South Asia Libertarian Forum organization. And I'm glad to see Ma'am Shakila Mujaddidi, a very bold voice for Afghan people. And Sain Zafar Saito, again, a very powerful voice for Sindh, people of Sindh. Shai Sadat is a very experienced Pashtun leader in PTM. So I feel that I am honored to be one of you guys. All of you are here. I can see Waja Abdurrahman Baloch from Karachi. So thank you so much, Jamil Maqsood, leader, a young leader from Kashmir. It is when we talk about why I'm not a technical person to answer that, but I know how Pakistan manipulates the international organizations, manipulates to be one of the apple of the eyes of United States and China at the same time, United States and Russia at the same time. And how they play is very cunning. Manipulation is their basic characteristic. So they don't have character. They have a kind of fraudulent, and they have a kind of system that supports only an elite group of army. Pakistan is, from the day first till today, is created and supported just to army, an elite army. And when we talk about corruption, it is out of imagination. You take the panorama, you take the Pandora boxes of all the journalists who have brought the Pakistani generals corruption and billions of dollars in Sweden, in Swiss banks, and millions of dollars as Papa John's and other companies in America and Canada and Europe, how they are doing their businesses with China, how they are doing their businesses in Dubai, in UAE, and how they are selling their army. You see, whenever there is a conflict, you will see Pakistanis government officials are going there and selling their army, their mercenaries, because they are always ready to play a part in any conflict because they have the trained militants. You have seen Imran Khan was going to meet Putin. He met Chechen leaders. What he has to offer? They don't have anything. They always beg from the other countries. They are not able to pay the salaries of even their army for 1 week if the money from outside is not injected in Pakistan's economy. Pakistan has no indigenous or no domestic economy. They are just begging. So wherever there is a conflict, they just reach there and offer their trained people. They're terrorists. This is the only asset they have.
Well, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but my question is, how in the world they always find funds to buy F-16s, to buy all those expensive equipment? How that happens? You know, it seems like that they have a parallel system going on through drug trafficking, through narcotics, where they make millions of dollars. We know they have these private enterprises going on, and without any restrictions, and they don't pay taxes. So they always find money.
Yeah.
Do you think?
If you talk about drug trafficking, if you talk about human trafficking, if you talk about arms trafficking, you will see them. You will see them everywhere. And it's not only Pakistani generals. You will see the Pakistani generals and Iranian generals and Turkish generals. They have joint hands in this all route of drug trafficking. They all are together. This is their, when here, they don't have any Shia Sunni problems. Here, they don't have any country problems, because here they have their own interest. They are the growers, and they are the manufacturers, and they are the smugglers of drugs. So the local boys, they are just, they are taking a small amount from here to there, they are got, and they are got killed there. But owner of those drugs at the level of tons are army generals all. And you had a question from Ma'am Mujaddidi. I just, it's very interesting that why Punjabi people, they don't get up against this establishment. We know that each and every Punjabi home are having sui gas from Baluchistan.
Exactly.
Yeah. For you guys, it's gas. For Baluch, it's our blood.
Right.
They're genociding us just to take our resources to Punjab.
Right.
So even the poorest Punjabi is part of that exploitation. They are getting something. One. Number two, you will see the poor Punjabis when they come to Baluchistan as Sipais. And when they go back from Baluchistan, you will see their homes are changed into bungalows, and the Gada Gadi was in front of them is changed into Pajero. Nobody asks from them that when you were in Baluchistan, how you got it.
Right.
They are involved in all kind of smugglings because Baluchistan has golden borders.
Right.
Yeah, Baluch people, for Baluch people, our borders are closed. Our people cannot go. One brother lives at the other side of the border, but he cannot go to meet his mom or his brother. Border is closed for us.
Right.
But for them, they are open for smuggling.
Yeah, it is known fact that Asim Bloch, I'm sorry, not Asim, what is his last name? The journal who became millionaire by being posted in Kuwait.
Bajo Asim. Bajo.
Okay, yeah.
I just want to share, Anwar Raza Saab, I just want to share a picture with you guys today.
Go ahead.
It is, you have screen sharing, yes.
Please do. And by the way, we want to make it a dialogue among us. If somebody has questions, don't hesitate to directly ask. We are all friends here. So
this is a picture of last week. And it is Wahali, a place in Avaran district in Baluchistan. And here the kids have gone to fetch water because there is no water facilities to our people. Our people have to go out and fetch water for their home. And these kids have gone to fetch water and they drank water there. And they look at their feet, how they died in pain because the water was poisoned by Pakistan Army.
Wow.
and many
All right.
animals and wild animals and birds were killed there. This is you can imagine when we talk about situation of Balochistan, it's not just basic facilities, lack of basic facilities or lack of basic rights. No, it is situation of genocide. They hate
Yes.
us and they are killing us mercilessly, and they go away with impunity. Nobody is there to ask how you can kill people like this.
Well, my question is why FATF does not see the picture you are
They are
showing?
blind. They are deaf. Simple answer is they are blind, and they want to make them blind. It's all politics. There is no pain for humanity. It's all politics. It's all blackmailing each other and taking interest from each other. They have kept Pakistan alive. They have kept this monster alive to kill all the Baluch people, all the Sindhi people, of the Afghan people. They are the people who are there. Their trained terrorists are killing people in Europe and in America, everywhere. But they have made themselves blind. They know it. I mean, simple is, if you see the records of Amrullah Saleh, the vice president or the president of Afghanistan, he showed it to the world that how Pakistan army is supporting Taliban, how they are supporting a religious extremist militants to destroy a country's democracy. This is enough. This is enough for FATF.
So what should we, as people of that area, be doing while we are in the West? We can have all these discussions, but if it does not turn into something practical, these are just discussions. So what should we be doing in your opinion?
I think the people who are living in Europe, the people who are living and who can go to the FATF headquarters, FATF offices, and they should go and they should surround it with all these records. We have records. We have submitted these records. Personally, I have submitted these records to the United Nations. They all know it. It's not that they don't know it. They know each and everything what Pakistanis are doing. We should go and we should surrender. We should sit there, just like Mama Kadir is sitting for like 5,000 days, or almost 5,000 days. It's a record in human history. We should go and we should sit there. People should sit there and people should tell them that if you are blind, open your eyes. It's not politics.
Right.
It's not game that you are doing with Pakistan, cat and mouse game, gray and points come and points high. There should be points have gone above the limit, actually.
Well, thank you so much for the input. I have many other questions, and I'll ask while we talk. But I need to bring in right now. Let me see. I'm forgetting the next panelist, but let's continue to talk. Ms. Qadri, tell us what is the other options we have. Yes, we can send letters, we can see people, we can contact our senators and congressmen here, but what other options? Because I'm a follower of the well-known leader of Indian independence, Netaji, and that's why I support Samachar openly. I have no fear about that. And some Baloch, they have taken that route to defend themselves, whichever means they can. And do you agree with their movement?
I don't remember any of my prayer that is complete without praying for them, for their victory.
Thank you.
And every nation loves their freedom fighters. So the Baloch nation. And the blood they are sacrificing is for us.
Okay,
And we honor that blood. And Netaji is my leader too. And
thank you.
like going on his footsteps, I am working on the Azad Baluch government, the government in exile for Baluchistan for last many years. And I demanded, first of all, from India, and then we are demanding it from many other countries today. We are doing our diplomacy, our work. And this is one thing I share with you, that what is the difference between Baluch army and between Pakistani army? The Pakistan army are a group of rapists. What they have done in Bangladesh, same they are doing in Baluchistan today. But the Baluch army's morals are so high. You can see the day they captured the Pakistan's military headquarters of 2 districts. In
Can someone please mute this sound? Okay,
So
seems like they are already reaching us, saying hello to us.
yeah, they should.
This
they
is
should
their
get
reach,
some education here. Yeah, they should come here and they should listen to us.
right?
And so what happened when Baluch army captured their 2 military headquarters in Panjgur and Noshki on the 2nd of February, and
Yes.
they kept it with them for 72 hours, and this nuclear power and this army of so many lakhs, they were not able to take it back from those boys, 7 young boys. And the morals you see, because in those headquarters, the Pakistan army people were living with their families. First of all, they released women and children with respect and said, you should leave, because it's the code of honor of a Baluch that we don't give any harm to a child or a woman. So this is how Baluch army is fighting. We are not fighting against anybody. We are fighting for our own liberation. Baluchistan was a country for 700 years before Pakistan became an artificial country by the British
Salute to your
colonizers.
struggle, and we all will be standing by Baloch people in their struggle for their country years to come. If it prolonged 100 years, Baloch have fought for 70, they will fight another 1,000. Salute to you. Thank you for your input. And now I'm going to call in another member of the panel, Mr. Sadat. He's a Afghan activist and author. Is he here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Please go ahead, tell us what's going on in Afghanistan and what should we be doing?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Naila Baluch, Shakila Zafar, Mr. Zafar, and Mr. Masood. It's what's going on in Afghanistan is it's going on the same what's going on in Balochistan, what's going on in Peshawar right now in this moment. The other day, okay, I wanted to go to something other, but since you asked me a question, the other day there was a wedding and a young boy was listening to a music in a radio, a music, and his brother's wedding party, and Taliban killed him to death. They kill him, shot him, kill him. And then another thing was there's a big, I would call it a factory because it produced, there's a bakery which produced the whole cake, cookies, biscuits for the whole Kabul. Is called Silo. It used to be coming, the grain used to be coming from one time from Russia or then from India. And then recently Pakistan sent some grain that is very, the grain is very low quality. There are a lot of those inside the bugs and everything. And the director or the president of that factory just complained. They said the Indian grain was better quality than this Pakistani, and he has been fired from his job.
Mm.
The thing is, Afghanistan is the people of Afghanistan, they take them hostages. The Afghans are not free. Coming back to one of the question that earlier raised is that if you see all these Pakistani generals, military generals, take it from General Akhtar, as you mentioned, taking millions dollars and war money. If you see General Asim Bajwa, the cousin of the Bajwa, the current Bajwa, he has hundreds of Papajan here in the United States. If you see Mahmoud Ahmad, the General Mahmoud Ahmad, who transferred $100,000, electronically transferred $100,000 to the account of Muhammad
Muhammad.
Atta,
Yeah.
Muhammad Atta, the ringleader of the 9/11. Now,
Yes.
these people are not only free, but they enjoy the wonderful life. And some of them are, they have own islands. You see there in Canada, they have their own colonies, these military officers. Here, and when I go down the hills called Fremont, you see these, you ask someone with a nice business, you call him, he's either son of the general or son of the colonel, Pakistani colonel. All. I think Pakistan is like a factory, and these people who Pakistan is living are slaves. And the one thing that how can we get attention of the West or attention of the world is that if from my experience, we lost more than 2 million Afghan people. We see that the body organs of Baloch are the military, they are sold in the military hospital in Lahore, 2 military hospitals, private hospital run by military officers. Guardians report their organ is, they sell their body organs, the children, the whole thing, the whole world is watching. They don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care about Baloch. They don't care about Sindhi. They don't care about Syriaci. They care about their interest. And you saw that. They use the Pakistan is like somebody else earlier, I think, but Naila mentioned that Pakistan is a project. Pakistan is a project, and it's living on the blood of these people. But one thing, once the Western realize that their interest is in danger, if the Western realize if we lose Baloch, Sindhi, Pashtun, then they will lose their interest, because everything is about the money, the humanity, and these are. I saw that in my life. I see it every one of you know that. It's no longer a question. So the only way is that if we get united, all. Today, I feel more Baloch than Pashtun. I feel more Sindhi than Pashtun. And believe me, what I say, I believe that. And this is the only way that we unite and we reach grassroots organization here in the West. Every grassroots organization, every church, every individual, our neighbors, we have to make awareness, because the big people, they have their interest. They don't let the information come out. Think about that. Since 14 days, 15, 16 days, almost 20 days, tens of thousands people are sitting in front of the governor of Sindh, the office of the governor of Sindh. These Pashtun activists, Baloch, Sindhis, all are jointly they're sitting there. But did you see any a paragraph, a sentence in Western media about them?
None.
We went to the governor house
Mhm.
here in California. Mr. Zafar was with us too. And we receive a call that soon the Ukrainian event is going to start. When are you going to finish your events? Now they see their interest in Ukraine because the whole focus is Ukraine. The number of people where they show they were far less than ours. Why? This is because there's few things. One is because their interest is now there. And second, because Ukrainians are probably more united, more
Right.
united. So this is the thing that we needed. We need unity. We need a united stand, and we need to we have to reach out every individual. This is the only way, I believe.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there is hope. Seems like all of us will agree that the evil empires cannot last forever. And Pakistan is a mistake, and we all know it is an accident. You know, I was just reading some information, an article where they mentioned that one of the general, Asad Durrani, and General Aslam Beg in 1990, they actually made a proposal to start their own narcotics trade to get rich and raise money. You know, these people have no ethics. We are dealing with an evil force. And so the only way we can do that to fight them is getting united and stay united. And it's very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. It reminds me of that revolution in France, when what happened in Bastille, where the people, after getting tired of oppression, they rose and, you know, they rebelled, and it is coming. So I'm very, very hopeful. Okay.
On one side, I have one more message to the Western. I hope there's someone they might be listening here to us. Is this is not 20th century. This is 21st century. Pashtun, Baloch, Sindhi, everyone in that region are aware what's going on. It's not the old time when there was a mullah, he would say everything and the people will be storming and going somewhere. If you don't understand and you don't get their problem, their issues, what's going on, what they are going through, you will lose. You will lose greatly. And believe me, you will lose. You will lose the whole region. This is not the 20th century. Being Afghan American, I'm telling to United States, just wake up. Wake up. Today, look, I am the son of one of the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen, a commander of Mujahideen. That was that time supported by the West and then funded through Pakistan. When I'm telling that we, if I was a child, if I was as much I know today, if I knew that, I would stop my father right away there. And if I am telling that to you, that we have been used, then think about those who we fought against them.
Mm-hmm.
I was on your side, and this is the message. This is a clear message. This is not just me. This is every Afghan feel today, and every Pashtun feel today. Just every Baloch feel betrayed, every Sindhi feel betrayed, every Pashtun feel betrayed. Just come and sit with them and understand their issues. You cannot run the whole region with a few corrupt Pakistani generals. This is our message. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your input, and very thoughtful, very nice of you to joining us. Now I want to bring in our host in DC, Magna. Are you there? Magna, can you hear me? I think her mic is in mute. Let me turn it on. Okay. Well, Magna, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Namaste. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum to all my Pakistani, Afghani brothers and sisters here. I've been hearing what Professor Neela has to say, and Mr. Sadat was talking about. It was very, very touching And I know what exactly it feels like to become a victim of a genocide. It's not that we are new to this genocide. It has been happening, and we have been ignored for a very long time. And I agree with you all that we need to stand up for our rights and human rights and dignity. Just to give a quick brief introduction about myself, I am running for Congress in Virginia 11th District as a Republican. And even in 2020, I ran for the same office. And I think the Baluch and Afghani Bhai Bahan were my biggest supporters. And I do understand there is a difference between the real Islam lovers and the truly, genuinely peaceful people like yourself who are the victims of this genocide and Pakistan's terrorist way of dealing with things. And I agree with everything that you were talking about Pakistan. Either it is about human trafficking, drug trafficking, organ harvesting, or promoting terrorism in the region, are aligning with China. All these are putting our human rights in danger, and we need to stand up and fight. And I was fiercely supporting this cause even in my last election cycle. And I've got so many threats from radical Islamist people. I give a damn to these threats because human rights matter.
They do.
Today and every single day, and we will stand against it. If they are going to kill one Manga, there'll be hundreds and thousands of people like me who would want to stand up for our dignity and human rights. And I completely understand we definitely need to fight against this terrorism in that region. And I definitely agree with Sadat Sahab that Pakistan is trying to create chaos in that region, and we need to stop. And the first thing that this administration, Biden administration, did was to lift all the sanctions on Pakistan. Who else would do that? We want to be recognized as people who need to be respected, and our dignity matters. And these Democrats have always been friends and giving arms to Pakistan, and we must stop it. We must stop any administration that supports Pakistan. To me, that's an absolute no-no, and that is one reason I am sitting here. I'm in front of you folks saying that I'm running for this office to stop. If one of you might want to quickly go and Google the House Foreign Affairs Committee members, you will see the list of the members, and you will definitely see the name of Gerald Connolly, who is a member of House Foreign Affairs, who I am fighting against. The day I came to know the congressman in my district is in support of Pakistan and these terrorist organizations and fundraising with them, I decided I am going to fight this man to take him out of this office. That is just one reason, but there are so many other factors. For us, we cherish our families. We cherish raising our children in a most safe environment and schools. And what is being taught in schools to our children is something our culture doesn't approve of. Needless to say, I do not have to say that on the public platform, that it is pornography that is being taught to our children, and it is not acceptable. That is not our value. That is not where we want to take our children. And education is very important. And these are the issues that I'm fighting against to protect our families, the public safety of women and children. And of course, with human trafficking and open borders comes definitely human trafficking of our women and children who are becoming the victims. And they are forced to become the victims when we have open borders. We need to stop that. We need to stop this open borders and letting the radicals and extremists come into this country and take away what we came to this country for. And that is not enough. And globally, we need to stop it. And please support me. I am all for our freedom. I'm all for our human dignity. Please support me. I will continue to fight for everybody.
Anwarji, Meghna, we are really honored. On short notice, you just joined us. Next part 2, you are going to be our panelist in this program, and we will be so happy to listen you more on these all subjects. I know you are a like you support the freedom for everyone, liberty for everyone, and really we are honored you are having here with us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Salam alaikum.
And before you leave, I'm also a political activist in American politics, and I can tell you that by listening to you, I can be above party affiliations. I will support you in your election campaign, as long as we can expect you to you will take our message to the halls of Congress, and you will demand FATF to put Pakistan into blacklist. This is what we can expect from a public official. This is what we are fighting. We have nobody in the Congress. We have nobody in the Senate. There's not any president helping us. There's not any vice president helping us. Like Mr. Sadat said, we are alone in our struggle. We need people like you. Please stay with us.
You just said it, and we need our own representation. And if we are not on the House floor, then we are on their menu. We are not at the table. So we need to be our own voice on the floor of the House to speak for ourselves. We will not allow. I mean, I have a lot of congressmen and women that are friends sitting, but then they're all whites, and they are now being labeled as white supremacists. And I think now we have reached a time when we also have to become a voice for those are in the Congress who are Republicans, who are being shut off, calling them white supremacists. Then who else can defend us? And all those wrong narratives, it's going to be the immigrants like ourselves. Please support me, and I will always be there to fight for this cause, because this is too close to my heart, because this is exactly what I believe.
Yes, someone is trying to speak.
Yeah, I want to add that being Afghan American, and we have a big community there. We will send voices like you, and thank you, and sure we will support you, and I hope we will get some kind of our telephone numbers or something that we can reach you, and then we will connect your community leader with you and stand with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Salam alaikum. I have to run off to another rally today. It's Freedom Rally, and it's going to be freedom for all of us. Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste, Meghna.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's conclude. And before we do that, I want to go to each and every member of the panel to give the closing remarks. Please be short, to the point. So far we have heard from all of you, and the message here is get united, get interested, be vocal, and reach out to all the authorities and reach out to FATF. That's what we are doing. But if there is anything else which comes to your mind, please share and be brief. First, let me start with Professor Qadri, please. Professor Qadri, please. Oh, you are speaking, but the mic is in mute. And the reason for that is we have been infiltrated, so we are just taking precautions. Can you hear me? Dr. Naila Qadri Bloch. Mute. Her mic is mute. Admin, can you unmute her mic? Okay, well, let's move on before.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, before closing, I can see a few hands. Some participants want to ask some questions or give some comments. If you allow them.
Right.
Yeah.
Admin C, who wants to ask a question, please?
I can see Ma'am Kakasha Heather.
Okay, Kakasha, it is all yours.
And after her, I can see Waja Abdurrahman Baluch also want to speak something.
Kakasha first and then Abdul Rahman Baloch. Let's do it. Kakasha.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Reza, for giving me opportunity, and Professor Qadri. I see here Sadat Bhai and Zafar too. We all working for freedom from Pakistan, and I'm really honored for giving me opportunity to speak here. I belongs to MQM, that's Muttada Qawmi Movement, and my founder, leader of the party, Mr. Altaf Hussain. We are struggling for freedom of Sindh from Pakistan because Pakistan is occupied our land, and at the same time we are raising voice for free Balochistan, free Afghanistan, and all the oppressed nations under Pakistan oppression. This is a very strange thing. If you look at the Pakistan right now, I just want to add my little comments here because I know time is short, so I'm not going to be talk very long. But I want to say something. This is the only nation, only country is created by British, by purposely in this region. Before British Empire was leaving the country, Hindustan, and so they decided they need their agents here. So their army, who was killing the freedom fighters during all this struggle, freedom from Britishers, so they create Pakistan. And this is 1947 on August 15th when Pakistan was born. Within less than 2.5 months, Pakistan attacked on Jammu Kashmir. They killed over there so many thousands of Kashmiri Pandits. After that, they raped so many Kashmiri women. Less than 8 months, they entered in Balochistan. Balochistan was a free country, founded on 11th August 1947, even before Pakistan. And what happened? Since last 74 years, their genocide is continued by Pakistani Army, ISI, and they're selling their human organs, they're selling their women, their land is occupied. And same thing happened in Afghanistan, but we see for last 40 years, we saw millions of Afghans died, dislocated from their homes, their economy is destroyed, their education system is destroyed. And when we come to, in the last, I come to my land, Sindh. As a Sindhi, we are a nation, and I belongs to Karachi because my parents, they migrated from India. They made a big mistake. They was free to engage themselves in this freedom from Hindustan to Pakistan. Pakistan is nothing but a terrorist country. Pakistani Army, ISI, is the right word for them. I think the Pakistan is an epic center of terror right now in the whole world. They're killing millions of people, human trafficking, drug trafficking. They bring China in this war, and So this thing has to be stopped on some point. We cannot let them continue like this. If we want peace in our region, for India, for Afghanistan, for occupied Balochistan, for Sindh, we have to stand up. If we're not going to raise our voice for sanction Pakistan, it's not going to be stopped. We're going to continue. But we see that this is the only army who have a country, whole country. The millions of people are slave under Pakistani army. Even for myself, if I give my little introduction, I'm a freedom fighter. At the same time, I'm a human rights activist. But because of the raising voice against ISI, they put so many murder charges on me. They declare me mastermind of target killers, and I'm the most wanted in Pakistan right now. ISI did so many press conferences against me. ISI colonel said in the press conferences and says she's a terrorist, she's this, she's that. They killed about 3 years ago in Virginia my brother Syed Kamran Haider, and now my life is under threat. And they says we're going to kill you just like we killed your brother. But the thing is, these threats not going to stop us. We're going to fight for our free Sindh, free Balochistan, free Afghanistan till our last breath, because this is not about me, not about Professor Kadri or Zafar Satu or Shai Sadat, because this is about our next upcoming generations. For what we're going to give them. We need peace, harmony, we need education for our generations. We want freedom for our people, because what we are seeing for very, very long time. If you look in Altaf Bhai's struggle, Mr. Altaf Hussain, he's in exile for last 30 years and he's living in London. But even living in London, he's dealing with so many cases over there. He's been attacked so many times. But the thing is, I think we all need to stand together. If we're not going to stand together, if something happened like November 26th, what we saw in Bombay, if we're not going to raise voice for all the peoples, oppressed peoples, or in Afghanistan, in Bombay attack in India, in Balochistan, in Sindh, in other areas, then we're going to be distributed and things are not going to move further, and we're not going to achieve our results quickly, because we have to understand this thing. Pakistan is a terrorist country and they're going to use any resources to destroy us. And that's what they are doing right now. Even they are selling Baloch Sarmachai's meat, human flesh they are selling in the restaurants. Who can imagine to eat human flesh at this time? But Pakistani army is so cruel, so mean. They're selling our bones to China to make their medicines and whatever things. We live in America and Canada, and we know if you need an organ and someone is very desperately need an organ, still you have to go through the whole process and you have to go in the waiting list. But in China, less than 2 weeks, you can get whatever part of the body or organ you wanted in less than 2 weeks, 10 days the most. Where they all getting all those kind of things from Pakistan. Pakistan is providing all those kind of things. Plus, China had that policy, one child policy. So with that, the Desi Asian mentality, oh, I want a son. So now they are in crisis with a young woman to get married. So Pakistan says, no problem, we're going to provide you young woman. And that's why they're getting all the Hindu girls from the Sindh. I don't like to use that word Hindu because they are Sindh's daughters. But to clarify and more put pressure on that thing, to explain that they are taking our young Hindu girls and forcefully showing why they are converting and they're falling in love. Like 10, 12, 15 years old girl is always falling in love with the 60, 70-year-old Buddha party.
Yeah.
and they're still their part. So I'm just going to conclude, and once again, I really appreciate it for giving me time and opportunity to speak up. But we have to stand together and we have to fight together to put sanctions on Pakistan and for each other's freedom and save some lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kehkashan, and be safe out there. And if your life is in danger and you are in the West, I'm not going to disclose your location, but if you are here in the West, please contact FBI or the law enforcement so they won't, they will be able to find a way to protect you. Okay, be safe. All right. And by the way, you mentioned that terrorist attack in Palwana and Pathankot. The architect of that attack, Masood Azhar, is still around. He's raising funds. I've seen his speech, and his brothers and Mufti Rauf Asghar, who actually visited Balakot before India attacked, and they are all in custody, but that is a protective custody. They keep these people in safe houses. But we need to tell FTF to stop, to look at these matters. They are giving them clean shit, and it should not be. They have given them clear. Now you have done enough. It should not be the case. They are terrorist state and they should be put back into blacklist. So now I invite the next person who wanted to ask a question. And I'm sorry, I can't see from here. Who was that? Please.
Raja Abdul Rahman and then Hanigul.
Right. Go ahead, please. Admin, can you unmute his mic? Her mic. I'm sorry, I can't see.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum. पैनलिस्ट रज़ा साहब, नाइला कादरी और दीगर पैनल के साथी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। जैसा कि आप लोगों को मालूम है कि पाकिस्तान के एक सूबा बलूचिस्तान, मकबूजा बलूचिस्तान के नाम से पहचाना जाता है, जिसके ऊपर आए दिन जुल्म, ज्यादती और दूसरी चीज़ों का बाजार करम किया गया है। इसकी बुनियादी वजह ये है कि यहाँ इंसानी हुकूक की पामाली आए रोज जारी है। हाल ही में इस्लामाबाद से इस्लामिया कॉलेज के तालिब इल्म हफीज बलोच और दिगर ऐसे कई नौजवानों को अगवा करके टार्चर सेलों में बंद किया जाता है। इसकी बुनियादी वजह यह है कि पाकिस्तान में ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन की कोई हैसियत नहीं है, ना कोई ऐसा कोई इदारा है जो पाकिस्तान के अंदर इस तरह की वायलेशन हो रही है। जैसे कि यकम फरवरी को हाल ही में इस्लामाबाद में नहते बलोच तलबा पर जिस जारियाना अंदाज में तशद्दुद किया गया है, इसकी मिसाल पूरी दुनिया में नहीं मिलती है। इसकी वजह यह है कि बलोचों को मजबूर किया जा रहा है कि आप पहाड़ों का रुख करें, आप तालीमी मैदानों को छोड़ दें, आप तालीम को छोड़ दें, आप दूसरे रोजगार के दरवाजे आपके लिए बंद कर रहे हैं। खासतौर पर हमारे पास गवादर एक सी पैक, जो हमारे पास एक समंदर है, 750 किलोमीटर तोइल गवादर के नाम से पहचाना जाता है, मगर वहां पर हमारे माहिगीरों को शिकार करने पर पाबंदी है। दूसरी तरफ हमारे ट्रेड ईरान बॉर्डर पर मंसूब है, ईरान बॉर्डर पर मौजूद है, वहां से लोग रोजगार करते हैं, उनसे रोजगार छीना जा रहा है और ये पाकिस्तानी हुकूमत, यहाँ की फौजी ब्यूरोक्रेसी मजबूर कर रही है कि आप यहाँ पर हथियार उठाकर बाकायदा जंग का ऐलान करें। मगर हमारे पुरअमन साथी पुरअमन जमहूरी जद्दोजहद पर हम यकीन रखते हैं। हम कहते हैं कि जमहूरी अंदाज पर हम इनका मुकाबला करें। हम जमहूरी अंदाज में मुख्तलिफ NGOs की शक्ल में, मुख्तलिफ पार्टीजों की शक्ल में, मुख्तलिफ इदारों की शक्ल में, मुख्तलिफ डिवीजनों में काम हो रहा है बलूचिस्तान में। मगर अफसोस की बात है यहाँ की ना कोई इदारा है, ना कोई यहाँ कोई इसको सुनने वाला है। यूनाइटेड नेशन जैसे एक इदारा इस दुनिया में मानी जाती है कि ये इदारा मजलूम अक़वाम के लिए इसने कुछ रूल और लॉ बनाए हैं, मगर अफसोस की बात है पाकिस्तान जैसे रियासत में इसकी कोई इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं होती है, ना कोई वहाँ मजलूम कौमों की कोई सुनवाई की जाती है। हम इस प्लेटफॉर्म के तवस्सुत से हम हुक्काम बाला को और वहाँ यूनाइटेड नेशन को ये इसके जहन में ये बात डालना चाह रहे हैं कि हमारे नौजवान जो मिसिंग किए जा रहे हैं, हमारी माओ बहनों को जिस तरह टॉर्चर दिया जा रहा है, हमारे बुजुर्गों को जिस तरह टॉर्चर किया जा रहा है, हमारे से जिस तरह रोजगार छीना जा रहा है, जिस तरह से हमारे पर रास्ते तंग किए जा रहे हैं, इसी तरह 71 में बांग्लादेश के साथ हुआ था। इस मर्तबा 71 से भी बदतर पाकिस्तान में बलूचिस्तान के साथ हो रहा है। मगर अफसोस की बात है, यहाँ की कुछ नामनिया तंजीमें, सियासी ऑर्गेनाइजेशनें सिर्फ मसले कश्मीर पे बात करती है। मगर अफसोस की बात है, मसले कश्मीर से अगर हम उसका मुआवजा बलूचिस्तान से करें तो बलूचिस्तान में उससे ज्यादा बदतरीन जुल्म जबर का बाजार गर्म है, क्योंकि यहाँ कोई इनको पूछने वाला नहीं है। हमारी अपनी भी कुछ कोताहियां हैं, हमारी अपनी भी कुछ कमजोरियां हैं। इसकी बुनियादी वजह ये कि हमारे पास लीडरशिप का फुकदान है, लीडरशिप हमारे पास बहुत है। मगर अफसोस कि हम एक ग्रोह में मुख्तलिफ ग्रोहों में बटे हुए हैं। अगर हम एक प्लेटफॉर्म पर इकट्ठे होकर एक आवाज बुलंद करें तो हम कहते हैं कि तो ये पाकिस्तान जैसे गैर फितरी रियासत से हमें छुटकारा पाने में ज्यादा मुश्किलात का सामना नहीं होगा। शुक्रिया तमाम दोस्तों का।
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। जब तक साउथ एशियन लिबरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मौजूद है, हम आप लोगों की हमायत के लिए खड़े हैं, यूनाइटेड हैं। सिंधी, बलोच, महाजर, पश्तून सबके साथ हैं और इंशाल्लाह आपकी जदोजहद में आपका साथ देंगे। इसमें कोई हर्ज नहीं है। इस बात के मेरे नाम से, मैं पंजाबी हूँ, मेरे नाम से इस मुल्क में जो ज्यादतियाँ हुई हैं, मेरी कौम के नाम पे इस मुल्क पे जो ज्यादतियाँ की गई हैं वर्दी वालों की तरफ से और सियासतदानों की तरफ से, उस पर मैं आज शर्मिंदा हूँ। इसकी वजह है मैं आज आप लोगों के साथ हूँ कि मैं आपकी बातें सुन सकूं और उसको हुकाम बाला तक पहुंचा सकूं। शुक्रिया बहुत। मुझे मालूम है कुछ और many other people want to speak, but I want to invite Shahi right now. Admin, please unmute her mic. She wants to say something. Any language is okay. Baloch, Pashto, Sindh, Urdu, English, all is good. Admin, can you hear me? Unmute Shahi, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I already talked. I'm here in finally.
Okay, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm one of the speaker here, guest speaker. I already talked here.
Shahi Saab, actually it was the final conclusion because you have to go for another program, so it will be honored that you put
Right.
the final words. Then we will go to the question and answers. Any demand or anything you would go.
Oh, thank you. I think what I see is that we have the same issue, the same problem, the same, we are suffering from the same from the same dictatorship, from the same fascist and terrorist sponsoring state. And we have the same grievances. And the only way, like I said, that we can raise our voice and to bring more people is to tell to the West that if they turn against us, or if they don't listen and don't hear us, or if they continue supporting the fascist and terrorist sponsoring state in military, they will lose. And this is the only way, because today is, again, everything is about interest. And it's going to happen sooner or later, because today we are more aware of our surrounding, and it's not the old time. The time has been changed. The Western history realized that the whole region is changing, and is a whole region no longer believe that Pakistani military or their way they behave, or the way they're using the people in that so-called Pakistan for their own interest. I would say that they would realize that they either want to stand with the millions and hundreds and millions of people in the region, or they want to stand with a few Pakistani military establishment who are supporting terrorism, who are killing innocent Baloch, Sindhi, Pashtuns, and who are fascist. Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
giving me this.
Thanks for the thoughts. Well, before we finish, I want to hear from Sahar Subra. I see you on the line. Please unmute his mic so he can say a few words.
I think my mic unmute. Unfortunately, it's gone my wife's name. I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to talk here for a minute. We all know Pakistan is not a country. It's a piece of land carved out by the British for the purpose of giving it to an army. So it's a piece of land occupied by an army. And this army was placed there for a strategic reason and to ensure neither India will ever become a superpower and the region remains in conflict as it is, which is done this purpose. And that's the main reason of creation of Pakistan. When in 1948, Pakistan, so 47, when Pakistan was created, it didn't have any money, anything to trade, because in those days, you needed the gold reserve to trade. Pakistan raided the Balochistan treasury in 1948, occupied the country by force, and produced some signature, which is invalid, because in 1945, Khan of Khalat established 2 houses and gave all the running of the state to the 2 houses except the treasury. So he did not have the mandate to sign in the first place, so it's irrelevant. So Pakistan wants us to play this game. Oh, yes, he signed. Oh, no, he didn't. That's beside the point. So this terrorist state, its main function, basically, it served this function. Now it has changed masters. Before his masters was British, then American. Now his new master is China. And I think his new master is a bit fed up as well, because all the investment it has made, which has failed in Balochistan, and recent brave encounter of the Baloch mission they carried out on the 2 army posts, which really showed the invisibility of the Pakistan army is nothing but a show. Now, Pakistan obviously is a state throughout the world, in England, in Europe, in Canada, in America. They have money to buy people up to act as lobbyists for them. We don't have that kind of money, and we really need a support. Early on, my sister Naila Qadri was talking about the exiled government of Balochistan, and few voices from India also talked about that. And I think a country needs to back us up on this and establish an exiled government of Balochistan, because then we will have a place like the Palestinian in the United Nations, so where we can present our case effectively. We can take our case to International Court of Justice. We can hold these generals into the court and account for the genocide they committed. And I hope Bangladesh soon, rather than later, lodges the case of genocide in Bangladesh. It needs to be done. That's all I have to say. And I'm glad I just came across this by chance. I looked at my Twitter account. I wasn't aware of this meeting. I received a DM message, so I clicked it in. Anything I can do, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your support and kind words. We'll stay in touch. Anyone else? Hani Gul Baloch, before we conclude this, you want to say anything? Any words? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating and giving us your input. It was very heartwarming to hear so many people. I used to think that I'm by myself, but seems like I'm choking while talking to you. I got brothers and sisters who will stand by us, and we will stand by you in your struggle. It is the beginning of a new chapter. When I hear all these stories of oppression, my blood boils and smoke comes out of my ears. I'm a person who will be very, very helpful to you all. So please listen to us, stay in touch, be united, and thanks for your support. With this, I will invite Zafar to put the final words. Go ahead, Zafar, before we conclude. Zafar.
Anwarji, thank you. And I'm so glad and happy that a lot of from different parts, they joined our activities, and they joined with us in today's program. The next week program, we have a lot of more panelists on sanction Pakistan and this FATF issue. Pakistan must be put in blacklist because Pashtun, Afghan, Baloch people, not only Pashtun, Afghan, Baloch, and by Kashmir, by Pakistan, and world is in terrorism. Everyone knows, like Dr. Naila Qadri said, Dr. Shahi Saab said, we are suffering, and we have to play our role. We have to do the things on the right path to bring our voices in USA, in Europe, cancer, which is Pakistan. And I see only the solution, which is balkanization of Pakistan. I know once Pakistani unnatural state will be balkanized, lot of problems, lot of issues will be solved. That is only the solution we have, really. Otherwise, the humanity will be keep suffering. Otherwise, people will be killed. Otherwise, same things which happened in Kashmir, occupied by Pakistan, same thing which happened in Balochistan, same thing which has happened in Bangladesh. These atrocities will continue, and maybe after 2 days we will listen and again a terrorist attack on any mosque. So to end these atrocities, these abductions, massacre, Pakistan must be put on a blacklist and sanctioned. I want to today on this platform, I want to request US, United Nations, Europeans, Commission, they please do something to put end to these atrocities, to eliminate this cancer. We have to stand together. Thank you. And
Thank you
if
all.
there will be any
Appreciate it.
questions and answers, we will go for that.